guys, welcome back. So today I'm making one of my favorite beers that I make. I haven't made it in a really long time and I've never recorded it for some reason. It's one of the first recipes I actually made. It is my Tangerine wheat. This recipe is kind of based off of Lost Coast's Great White wheat recipe. They use coriander, lime leaves, a bunch of really fun stuff in that beer. It is amazing. And basically the only real difference is I add a crap ton of tangerine zest and juice. So it's great. It kind of tastes like juice. It's delicious. And it's just really easy drinking. It's only like 4.7%, so like it's not gonna wreck you. So let's get started milling. My water's already ready at strike temp, which is 160 or 71 degrees Celsius. I think I have about 10 pounds of wheat in here already. My wheat has been relegated to the end of the garage just because I'm out of space. Always. Got a shed, moved all the things out of the garage, already have no space again. Okay, so I did actually like weigh this bucket before I filled it, so I know how much is in it. I got too much. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so that's it. I'm just gonna dump this back in my bin. So our grain bill for this is 10 pounds of white wheat, or 4.5 kilograms, 3.5 pounds of two-row, or 1.5 kilograms, 12 ounces of honey malt, 340 grams. If you notice, most of my older recipes have honey malt in them. I was very obsessed with it for a very long time. And then 6 ounces of acid malt, or 170 grams. And that is basically to drop our pH in our mash so that we can actually get some conversions going. The wheat isn't as acidic as barley is, so when you're making a wheat beer, typically you want to add some acid malt or some lactic acid in the mash just to kind of make it work. And 6 ounces seems to be good in this. Oh, also we're making 11 gallons. That will basically just fill 2 kegs, and it will actually overfill 2 kegs, I've come to notice, but whatever. And we're gonna start with 13 gallons of water. So that is 49 liters to start, and we're going to make a 42 liter batch. Alrighty, so let's do our two-row. So what I was just doing there is tightening up the mill gap so that we can make pretty close to flour. Guess I should plug in my drill. That helps usually. It smells super sweet. So since we're already at our strike temp, let's go ahead and just mash in. So I treated this water with a Camden tablet to get rid of the chlorine. I feel like my ABV is probably going to be low because I estimated a ton of my sugars basically to come from the orange juice, and I got less than I usually use. I guess I could just go to the store and add some actual orange juice instead of getting more tangerines. I don't know, we'll see what it turns out to be. So I turned my temperature down to 156, which is about 69 degrees Celsius. Yeah. And I'm going to let this sit for an hour, and then we'll come back and do the rest. Okay, so our mash is done, and I'm going to pull this. I'm going to turn up my heat to boil. So that's going to need to sit a little bit to completely drain out. Then we can take our original gravity and figure out if I gotta go buy some orange juice for the end of this. All right, this guy is done, and we're pretty much boiling right now. So I'm gonna pull this. Good job, Sarah. I think I need a shorter rope. Whoa! Indeed, we are boiling. I just realized I have no idea what time my hop's going. Hilarious, Sarah, you're doing such a good job. Well, in the meantime, I will take a reading for my pre-boil. We're at over 12 gallons. All right, we got late edition hops. So we're doing Cascade at 15 minutes and 5 minutes. We're gonna do 2.5 ounces at the 15-minute mark and 2 ounces at the 5-minute mark. So that's 70 grams and 56 grams. So there's really nothing to do now except for wait and throw this guy in. Let's see what our pre-boil is. I'm expecting this to be super, super, super low. Oh, so low. Okay. I'm gonna call that a good 10.3. So let's see what that comes out to. So it's 1.043 is our gravity. Actually, we're looking pretty high. Our ABV is looking like 6% now. What the hell just happened? And that doesn't even count all the tangerine juice. Interesting. I was so convinced that it was going to be super, super low. I mean, my mash efficiency was 91%, so. Cool. All right, well, I'll see you guys back here in 45 minutes for the first hop edition, and then we will do the next one. And at the 5-minute mark is when I add my zests and coriander, and then don't remember how I used to do it, but I think I'm just going to toss my juice in while we're chilling so it can kind of pasteurize. I didn't like do my whole Star San thing with the zest and the juice, and like tangerine juice is so sweet. I have a feeling that it's probably a little fermentable, like within the like fruit itself. Like, you know, a lot of us have probably like picked up an orange and it like smells like it's fermenting. So that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid. And yeah, we'll see how it turns out. This beer's never not turned out, so I don't think I can really do it wrong at this point. All right, see you guys in 45 minutes. All right, we're ready for our first hop edition, which is gonna be 2.5 ounces of Cascade. That seems like a lot, but Cascade's pretty low in alpha acids. It's like 6.5% is this bag. So given we're doing it at the 15-minute mark and the 5-minute mark, and it's such a low alpha acid, our IBUs are only like 18. What am I doing? I'm measuring. That's all I'm doing. 2.5 ounces is 70 grams if you are on the metric system. All right, here we are, and down the hatch. I'm gonna set a timer for another 10 minutes, get my coriander prepped, bring out my zest and my juice, and get ready for like the actual fun part of this. So for my zest and coriander, I'm gonna throw them in this bag. It's not super fine mesh, but then I'm going to kind of filter my juice through this because someone in my family hates pulp, and my last grapefruit beer I did, I got some feedback that it was too pulpy. So we're gonna filter it this time. For 5-minute addition, we are doing zest, coriander. I'm literally just gonna throw in all of this zest because I have no use for it and I hate wasting things. So I'm gonna probably actually chop it up a bit in here, just to, you know, it's not gonna sit with that very long. So the more essential oils we can get out of it, the better. First things first, let's do our coriander. We're gonna do 28 grams of coriander, or 1 ounce. And you can use a coffee grinder, spice grinder, whatever, or a mortar and pestle to break it up. Mortar and pestle is messy and sucks. I don't know, they're pretty, I guess, which is why people use them. But what I like to do is just clean out my coffee grinder and chop them in there. Honestly, I don't even clean my coffee grinder out after I use the after I grind coriander in it, because I really love coriander, and having a coriander coffee is not the worst thing in the world. So we need 1 ounce. I've already got some ground here, so I'm gonna just toss that in and add to it. The request was to put an ungodly amount of coriander in this. If you couldn't tell, I make this specifically for one person in my life. He really likes coriander. But if you use too much coriander, it can taste like soap. If you've got that cilantro thing, where cilantro tastes like soap to you in large quantities, or in any quantity really, be careful with how much coriander you use, because it is literally cilantro seeds. So, just gonna grind that guy up. Probably ground it a little fine. Oh well. I'm gonna put in this mortar and pestle so I can look fancy. Pretend I did some manual labor. Okay, so now let's measure our lime zest. So this zest was just the same amount of how this much lime juice, and same with the tangerine zest. That gave me that much. They're like the clementine things. Usually I can find like the larger tangerines, but it's kind of hit or miss what grocery store you go to. Ethnic grocery stores typically will have the kind of more, I guess, non-typical fruit, which, like, you can get tangerines that are this big. And these were like the stupid cutie kinds. Whatever. So we've got 36 grams of lime zest, which is a lot. And let's see if we can just chop it up a bit in there. Oh, I was going to do 2 ounces of coriander. 1 ounce of coriander per 5 gallon. So I'm going to add more. There it is. See, now it's way more zesty. So I'm not worrying about sanitation because I'm going to put this in at the 5-minute mark. But, like, you see how much volume that decreased. Let's just do more coriander while I'm at it. I think my original recipe called for like 3.5 ounces of tangerine zest. It might actually be there. All right, so we have 185 grams or 6.5 ounces. Wow, yeah, I kind of doubled like my original, almost anyway. Let's chop this up. It's gonna be so orangey, it's gonna be delicious. Also, check out how I zested this. I guess you could call me a hacker, because I took one of those automatic potato peeler things and modified the blade on it so that it cuts very fine. Like, you can see there's no pith on this. It's all zest. It took some finagling, but it is like the greatest thing ever. The only thing I wish was different about it is I wish it was larger so that I could do grapefruits as well, because like my neighbors get grapefruits that are like the size of my head, and it's impossible to use that for. I don't know if anyone ever did that thing where they tried to peel an orange or a grapefruit and get the whole thing off in one strip, but I feel like this is kind of like that. Okay, so it's about time. I'm gonna measure out our second hop addition, which is 2 ounces of Cascade. Just a reminder, guys, I'm making 11 gallons of this, so if you're running a normal homebrew system at 5 gallons, just cut everything in half. That's kind of why everything's in like 2s. So 2 ounces of coriander, 2 ounces of hops, whatnot. All right, so we can throw all of this stuff in. So I'm just gonna throw it all in this hop bag, even my hops, just because. Like, there's so many adjuncts in this. It's kind of amazing. It's like, it doesn't even taste like beer in the end. It tastes like juice. Give that a knot. I feel like I should tie a string to it. I'm tying a rubber band into it so I can pull it out. I'm gonna like kind of hook it on the side. I don't want it to kind of gum up the works when we're transferring out. So I'm just gonna loop it onto this hop screen. I could have also put this in my hop screen. I don't know why I didn't do that. All right, now I'm tying silicone tubing around it because my first idea was not a good one. Homebrewing is all trial and error. So that's all done. And we just need to set a timer for 5 minutes. And I'm gonna get my chiller all hooked up in the meantime. All right, our 5 minutes is up. So I'm gonna turn off my heat. I'm gonna start my pump. The thing about how I clean everything is I always kind of keep clean water in these lines. So what I'm doing now is just kind of getting rid of it until it gets warm, and then I'll know that it is beer. And that is beer. All right, so now I just gotta gingerly figure out what the hell I'm doing because I just forgot. So I'm just gonna feed this right over top, kind of right where my bag is. Start my pump. And start my water, and then we're chilling. So once this gets down to like 160, I'm gonna toss in my juice. Until then, I'm going, actually I can't really do anything until then. All right, we're at about 170, but it's gonna drop in fast. So I'm gonna toss in my juice through this bag. All right, and I will see you guys back here when we are totally chilled. Okay, so we're all chilled down. We're at 76 degrees. I just cleaned the crap out of this fermenter. This is my Brew built. Also, you can find all the equipment that I use in the description below. So this is all sanitized, and I'm just going to simply go from one vessel to the next. Ow. Got the crap out of my hand. So I'm sanitizing this because we are on cold side now. cleaned again. I'm gonna pitch my yeast. This is the Safale wheat yeast, pretty standard. This is a starter, so it's kind of equivalent to like 2 packs. One thing I'm gonna do is add a couple drops of this firm cap stuff to prevent foam overs. So I'm gonna ferment it under pressure, and I don't want to gum up all these valves, which I already have before. So I'm going to ferment this under pressure at 15 psi. I'm trying to get this done in a week so I can can it before I leave. I'm going to throw on my spinning valve so that I can set it. And we're done. Oh, one last thing. I'm going to take my original gravity reading. So our original gravity is 12.5. So that gives us 1.052. And it was supposed to be 1.034. I don't believe this. So Brewfather added total gravity, which I don't fully get. But it says we're going to have a 7% beer. Okay, so if we have a 1.052 original gravity and a 1.014, which are estimated, so that's going to be 5%. All right, so something's weird with my calculator right now, I guess. Okay, well, this is done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely try this beer. It's delicious. You'll love it. It tastes like orange juice and super refreshing and perfect for every season. And oranges are in season now. So go get some while they're cheap. All right. Bye.
Hey, bagged milk king.
Oh, thanks. Bagged milk.
That's what this is?
It's milk sugar. I'm making a pastry stout for him.
Nice.
A peppermint bark pastry stout. It's gonna be delicious. What's up, puppy? Are you gonna bang into something and break it? Probably.